we're going to do one of my favorite segments called House Calls. And this is where we actually visit with someone that we apparently gave some excellent advice to previously.
Don't know if we did or not, but
and we just follow up with them to see whether the advice was good, bad, taken, not taken, how it turned out.
yeah. So just this past April, we spoke to a woman named Tina, a podcast listener. She's not an Allworth client. I think we have to say that for disclosure purposes, because if she is, then it could be considered a testimonial and then all the kinds of regulation stuff. Anyway, she wanted to know how much of her net worth should be in company stock, her employer stock. So here's a clip for that call, and then we're going to talk to Tina.
My husband and I are later career, and we've been pretty focused and intentional savers, leveraging our company 401ks and other savings opportunities, et cetera. So we have we can retire, and we think, our financial advisor says live to well beyond 100 and not worry about it. And,
You're at that
we're
point
heading
today?
down that path. She says yes.
Okay.
We're prepared to work for another year or two
Okay.
before we go.
And what's the dollar amount?
But the amount in this.
Yeah, in the
this
401ks, IRAs, the overall.
Yeah. So
If you
I would
put it
say
all in a
overall
suitcase,
about
how
$3
big would the
million.
suitcase be?
Yeah, it's about $3 million in qualified funds, another, 2 in non-qualified after tax,
Mm-hmm.
and then I'd say another 25% of our total in this stock, and it's a private company, and it's done exceptionally well. It has a great trajectory. But it makes me very nervous.
Do you have any
because
liquidity option in the company? Private companies, you don't always have an opportunity to sell it.
Yeah, about twice a year they make an offer to buy back.
Okay, so the
And
25.
what industry is that in?
Aerospace.
Okay, so of the $5 million, 1.25 million is in your company stock. Is that correct?
No, it's an additional 25%.
Okay, thank you.
No.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. So it's a bigger.
And is
number.
any of it held in an ESOP, or is it all individually held?
The majority of it is in just individually held. It's not in any tax favored status.
And there's not okay.
And how close are you to retirement?
Let's just say a year and a half.
I'd
Let me
start.
ask you this question: if the stock went to zero, would you still be able to retire in a year or two?
I think we might put it out for another couple of years.
Do you want to?
I think we could. No.
See, I mean, the concept behind diversification is it's not designed to get wealthier. It's designed to protect where you're at, right? So when we're young, working for a growing company, maybe I've got more in there than I was prudent, but I'm taking a chance on it. If it works out, great. If it doesn't work out, that's all right. I'm still young. When we get to retirement age, particularly when retirement's right around the corner, for most people, they're more concerned about maintaining their lifestyle than they are about becoming wealthier. They don't want to go be poor, right? That's when diversification comes into play.
What's the family income?
Right now, with both of us working, let's just say in 400 or 500K a year.
And so all of this is gain in this. So how old are you guys?
I just had my 59 and a half birthday.
Okay.
My husband's about 6 months older than me.
Birthday.
So six. So here's the thing that I look at too is the tax ramifications. So
Of course.
right. So if you wait until after you retire and you start liquidating these, right, dollars.
Yeah.
Is there any pension income anywhere?
No, we have IRAs and 401ks, but not a.
And your non-qualified, are there any stocks that you could sell at a loss? Anything that can trigger a loss there?
We do that when there is opportunity. We don't have anything right now.
And you don't have any loss carry forward from it.
Yeah.
It's a tough
A
one.
little
Yeah,
bit.
this
but
is really.
nothing
I
that
gotta.
would cover this off.
This is. Oftentimes if you don't know what to do, you just split the difference, and then you're right either way. But this one, because of the tax and retirement's so close.
Because if you were retiring in December of this year, would say, okay, the next couple of years, we're going to have a strategy of reducing your exposure to this stock, and we're not going to take any income from your 401ks or IRAs. We're going to make sure that your non-qualified tax is managed in a tax-efficient manner, so we can pay a very low capital gain tax on this.
Yeah, and if your income wasn't as high as it was today, I'd be inclined to.
Right.
What's your family income today?
4 to 5. So I'd be inclined to hold it. So when you said it's 25% more, right? So you've got almost $1.5 million in it. Yeah, you got $1.5 million in it.
Times 2.
Oh.
It's a lot. Yeah, it's a lot.
Oh. I'd start paring it down.
And how's the value today versus 6 months ago, a year ago, 3 years ago, 8 years ago?
It's like a rocket ship.
I'd start paring it down.
Just keeps on going up.
I'd start paring it down. Either that,
nothing goes straight up forever.
Either
right?
that, or I would actually pick a similarly publicly traded stock and do put options on it to give myself some downside protection.
Which is essentially, put options. You're paying a premium
that if it goes down in price, you get paid. And what you're doing there is you're trying to identify companies that are in the same industry that do the same thing that actually will help you. If that's so, you're getting a sibling stock, if you will. So you're using financial instruments that give you some downside protection, and that you're paying that premium so that you can take advantage of the tax ramifications a year from now. And your advisor may or may not.
Is this aerospace company affiliated with a billionaire who has other companies? Put option using what?
A similar stock.
But there's no similarity to that company.
Just because of the guy that runs it.
Yes.
You're
Who's
right.
brilliant.
Which is, listen, what makes you good makes you bad. Yes, I'd pare it down. Tina, thank you for joining us again.
Yeah. As you can tell, listen to the call. It's like there's no
equal.
You're less than a year from retirement. What steps did you or did you not make this last several months?
Well, this is a story of the value of financial advice. So this is a plug for what you guys do, and I'm appreciative of the help. But here's basically, I think I mentioned that there are probably twice a year the company makes an offer to buy employee stock and reevaluates the stock every time they do that. So just the timing, and I think it was around August, we put in to sell a portion, about 30%. We got about 25% of it liquidated, and that was kind of in the mid-high six figures, all of it basically taxable because the basis was so low. So we worked with a team of financial advisor, accountant, lawyer, to determine a tax strategy. And ultimately we set up a CRUT, and there was no transfer in kind. We actually had to liquidate it and take that whole hit. So we decided to take a couple other stock holdings that we've had for 15 plus years, similarly situated from the tax buildup, do a transfer in kind to the CRUT, as well as the proceeds from the company stock, to set up our legacy giving and to create a little additional source of income in retirement.
I love it.
Beautiful, beautiful.
And CRUT is a Charitable Remainder Unitrust. And did you have a particular cause or charity already in mind ahead of time, something that was near and dear to your heart, and this was an easy one, or did you kind of have to think like, where do we want to have these dollars go ultimately?
Yeah, well, we've been on a journey of generosity, which is really wanting to share, in our, we feel super blessed by what we've been able to do in our careers. And
are you part of generous giving? Is that where you get the terminology?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been to their conferences. And
Yeah. So it was our financial advisor who said, you should think about giving from your wealth, not just from your income. And that kind of blew my mind. And here we are. So it's been a journey.
So let's walk through the mechanics, Scott, of what Tina did for the rest of the listeners. Because you couldn't take this SpaceX stock and actually move that into the trust because of how it was actually positioned.
It's not a publicly traded company.
What you did is you took something that you had a lot of appreciation, and you did the same. Therefore, you've got a tax write-off to offset some of the gain that you actually recognize in the SpaceX stocks.
If not, maybe all the way she structured this.
Yes, in the same calendar year, and then in doing that, you also provided a little bit of a stream of income. You still have to have a charitable intent. Don't think that
otherwise it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. So people come in all the time like, oh, my friend did this, and they get all this money, and they avoided all this taxes. And I'm like, if you don't have a charitable intent, it doesn't.
And not everyone has charitable intents.
Yes, but what you did is you used the tax code to your advantage and fulfilled. You and your husband had to feel great about this. I gotta believe, right?
Yes. It's like I would have never imagined that this would be something that we could do. And we're so excited about it.
I'm so happy for you.
So are our kids. Our kids are, completely on board. So that's the good news.
Have you involved your children in the giving at all? In selecting the charities?
Yeah, so ultimately they will have some say in after we're gone in terms of where it goes. We have it kind of categorized, but there's some flexibility in terms of specific charities that they may want to give to. But we raise them with the idea that the concept of a tithe, and that you've been blessed with much, you bless others by giving back.
So I'm going to share something with you, Tina, that if Scott and I have been doing this for quite some time. What you just did 20 years ago, that was for the wealthy, like the really rich, to have access to attorneys and accountants and a financial advisor that would have structured that. You're wealthy, but you're not super wealthy, right? And
right.
Well, there's always someone with more.
Well, it's like
you talk to someone with $100 million, they don't feel wealthy.
Well, it's like driving on the freeway. There's always someone in front of you. But what you said is you brought the accountant together, the financial advisor together, and the estate planning attorney together in order to structure this, right? And I'm guessing that the financial advisor was probably the quarterback of this.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
You got a good advisor,
and you've got a great advisor, right? And
yes.
it like firms like ours. That's why we bring tax and estate planning when appropriate in house, and when it's appropriate.
And a good advisor is someone who is helps somebody get clarity on what's important to them and design the finances around that, which is different for everybody, right? For Tina and her husband, they wanted to be as generous as possible with this, more assets than they ever thought they were going to have or need. And so that's a perfect solution for it.
And what is the Generosity Project, Scott? You both mentioned it, Tina and yourself.
This was it's really fascinating. It's an organization that was founded, a foundation funded this organization, Generous Giving, to help people give, essentially, both to understand the philosophical reasons behind it, the spiritual reasons behind that, and the economic reasons behind it. And so this organization is completely funded through this foundation. So all the tools they put out in conferences and stuff, they want people to give more, but not to them.
Okay.
So it's really different, because usually someone's talking about, here's how to give, and they've got their own intent. Why don't you talk to our state attorneys, right? Because they want to raise their own money. This organization, they don't want to raise anything from anybody. They just want people grow in their generosity.
And Tina, had you attended one of these conferences?
I attended a small group journey of generosity.
Yeah, they do it over a 24-hour period.
Very nice.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't solve the problem, right? We just talked around it, right? But this is one of the things that a good advisor would recognize. If you were sitting in an office, in any of our offices across the U.S., this conversation would have taken. It's hard to do over. First of all, it's hard to ask someone if they are generous.
You can look at their tax return.
You can look at their tax return, but
if someone's been making $250 a year and they've nothing listed on their tax return, it's a little more complicated now because most people are standard deductions, so it's not.
But it's hard to ask someone if they're generous because I've never had anyone say no. It's like if
they might feel they're generous in other areas of their life, but maybe
that's
not
right.
with their finances.
Well, finances, yeah. People ask me if I'm nice, and I always tell them yes.